Hey, it's Marcus from PunchJump, and we are going to do a quick gaming test on Resident Evil Village for the Mac, and it is programmed natively for Apple Silicon, which means that if you have a Mac computer with an M1 or M2 chip, you can go ahead and download this on the App Store right now. Now, if you're running this on macOS Ventura, you'll notice that there's a Metal FX upscaling option, which you can set to performance or quality, and I set this to performance to max the frame rate. Now in this video, you can see right at the introduction that this game is running beautifully on Apple Silicon. I am running this off of the MacBook Pro M1 base model. So if you are thinking that this may not run that well on a base model for an M1 or M2 processor, this is how it looks. Full 60 frames per second, 1920 by 1080 resolution, and everything just looks phenomenal. As we head to an outdoor scene, you can see that the textures still look really sharp and really detailed. You notice that the lighting is hitting the snow nicely, and you can see the fog effects and the lighting from the cell phone that is lighting up the arm of that dead soldier. And everything just looks so pristine off of the MacBook Pro M1 base model. Here we get into an interior scene. As you can see, the frame rate is still holding up in these dark corridors, and the whole thing is just really shocking to me that it looks this good on the M1. Capcom really outdid themselves with this port, and it just shows what you can do on the M1 programming natively on Apple Silicon. And here we're moving into a cutscene, which is a introductory Resident Evil Village cutscene, and you see this old man appear out of the shadows, and he hears some lichen in the background, and you can see all the textures, the facial textures, the animations, the lighting. It all looks fantastic. Moving into an actual gameplay scene, you can see that the frame rate is holding up at 60 FPS. And even with the quick action and the lichen getting right up into my face, it is not budging. The MacBook M1 and the 8 gigabytes of RAM is really punching above its weight. And everything just looks great as I'm moving around trying to kill this lichen that is all over me. Now, as we're heading out into some of the exterior scenes, you can see that the frame rate is dipping a bit. I would say it's getting down to the 30s, but remember, this is the base model MacBook Pro M1. You will certainly see a better performance out of a model with 16 gigabytes of RAM, or if you're moving up towards the M2 base model or the M1 Pro or M1 Max. Thankfully, in most cases, even on the base model, the frame rate does recover back to 60 FPS, and this sequence in particular in the introduction, if you played this already, is one where lichens are coming at you from every window opening in this shelter, and it's a really intense action scene. As you can see that the frame rate doesn't let up, it is holding steady, and yeah, just give these big props to Capcom for pulling this off and being a leading developer that is forging ahead with AAA game titles for Apple Silicon. And I remember talking about this in a CSGO video, that if developers get on board and demonstrate what the M1 and M2 can do, then that will promote other developers and encourage them to do the same. And you can see that it is really out of this world, being that this is a integrated graphics processor running off of such low energy, and the MacBook isn't even plugged in, which is insane. So if you are in the market for a AAA game title, I highly recommend Resident Evil Village. It is one of the top games that came out last year, and of course the Gold Edition is coming out soon for the Mac as well. And go ahead and pick up this game. It's $39.99, and support future Mac Silicon, Apple Silicon development, and hopefully we'll see more of these types of games in the future. And for more videos, subscribe. For more news and reviews, head to news.punchjump.com.